Hey guys, welcome to MeShi Media. I'm Meta, and it's just me, and I'm gonna be talking about Pokemon Masters, specifically how to do Champion Stadium Master Mode with 7,500 full points with unlimited sync pairs. I'm a big fan of this game, and I've been playing it since it first came out. And I really wanted to make some content on it, so that's why I'm trying that out now. And let me know what you guys think, if you want more videos like this, or if there's any kind of video guide you need. I don't know, I'm open to lots of things. But yeah, I want to get into it right now. And if you don't know what Master Mode is, or the Champion Stadium, this is probably not the video for you. Here are the sync pairs I used. So when I say unlimited, I'm talking about sync pairs, well, that aren't obtainable during a limited amount of time, such as seasonal scouts or master fairs and Poke fairs. That's what they're called. And I'm also leaving out the legendary sync pairs, even though it looks like, judging by the latest dev letter, that those events are going to be permanent, which is pretty cool. But I haven't included them here. I won't until that is actually implemented, because that wouldn't make sense otherwise. And I also excluded pairs like what's his name? Bugsy and Psyduck and Misty. Bugsy and Scyther specifically, since they had events that are, their events were limited, and I'm not sure when they'll be rerun. So my main goal is to do a walkthrough with unlimited pairs and not limited time pairs, even if those pairs are free to play, because maybe if you just came back or you just started, and even if they're free to play, you don't have a way to obtain them right away. So, though, Master Mode is endgame content anyways, so if you just started playing, you're probably not going to be able to get very far in this. But anyway, so the pairs I used are all either in the General Scout or obtainable through the story at any time. And I will also be going and taking a look at their sync grids and theme skills. Well, theme skills not very important. The lucky skills, that one's the important one. So round 1 is use field effects that give your team the upper hand. And I did that one with Kahili. For each of these battles, I used pretty much the same point distribution. That's not always the case. Like, if it's a battle that I need to use status conditions, I will change up my point distribution. But this is pretty much what I use. Okay, I try not to take many of the special defense and defense ups, and stay away from the max HP ups for obvious reasons. And I wanted to mention that during this run, I am not going to be using any stall teams, because obviously stall is a legitimate way to get through some of these battles, but I was focusing on offensive teams. So if you want to see how to use a stall team, I won't show that here, but let me know if you're interested in that. And so 1,500 is the max amount per battle that counts for prizes. So that is the max amount I'm going to be using. So for the first team, I start with Olivia and Skyla and Acerola. Olivia and Acerola pair well together because Olivia benefits from Sandstorm. And Skyla is just a good healer in general and raises defense, which is helpful. And Olivia and Acerola also activate their several of their theme skills. Alola and Elite Four, and what's the other one? Oh, Trial Giver. Yeah, these aren't raised all the way. I'm out of the skill spheres right now because I wasted a bunch of them. But yeah, the more you level up those skills, 4 is the max, obviously, you'll get that much small boost of stats. And poor Skyla doesn't get any theme skills. Skyla's got Vigilance, Protect from critical hits, which is good for a tank. She will be tanking. Critical Strike 2, pretty much what you need on any striker, unless there's a special circumstance. And, oh, I got Sand Shelter on Acerola, even though it is in her sync grid. But as a lucky skill, I didn't need to take it on the sync grid, so I could use those points for something else. So speaking of sync grids, I'll go show you. Alright, so here's what I use for Skyla. So I took a lot of the defensive nodes to up her defense and special defense stats. I also focused on her potion and healing. So we got Master Healer and Potion MP Refresh. Very important for Skyla. And sometimes, as you probably know by now, luck plays a pretty big part in battles. So say if you're hoping to get an MP refresh on your potion and it doesn't happen, but you almost beat the battle, you just needed it. Sometimes you have to retry it a few times to get it right, and that can be annoying. Let's see, for Olivia, I've gone with this build. So I've got extra attack. Yeah, rock throw accuracy is, who cares? I think that was just one of the tiles that I needed to get to one of these. I got Sandstorm tiles. So Sands of Time, Surging Sand, and Sand Shelter. So that is going to help with the Sandstorm and move gauge refresh on Stone Edge. Acerola. Is that how you say her name? Acerola? I don't know. Focused more on her kind of passive skills. MP refresh for Sandstorm, though that's not going to matter much for this battle since field effects are permanent. Sandstorm will also raise attack, which is good for Olivia, and has only a 50% of raising the critical hit rate, but it's better than nothing. And then we finish out with Astonish, so that she can be a flinch queen and should take some of the heat off of Skyla.
I feel the winds of victory. Alola.
So I'm gonna aim for what's that thing called? Salamence, I think. I'm going after him first since he has poisons, which takes you down really fast if you are not careful. And I do not have anyone on my team right now who can prevent status effects. I decided every slot on the team is too important to give one up for that. I'm gonna finish off Salamence here. Alright, we're doing good. Okay, let's focus on the main girl.
Did you point out where I went wrong?
Graveyard. Oh, Skyla got burned. I'm gonna draw aggro with Acerola now. And she's dead. But whatever. Okay, and I'm going to sync with Olivia now. And she's not EX'd, so her sync's only gonna hit one person, but that's okay. If your Olivia is EX'd, all the better. You will probably be able to actually win there, if not on the next turn, since sync move would be very strong. Oh yeah. There we go. We did it.
What can we learn from this?
Nice.
Not too much of a problem. I will say I did have to restart that battle twice. But I will probably not show that because why would you want to see that? Alright, so second round I go for Acerola. And same parameters as last time. This is pretty much what I use for all of them this week. I guess most importantly, make sure no stat reduction is not chosen because we are going to be reducing stats in this one, and I think maybe some of the other ones might be reliant on that too. And that's just to lower, you know, the opponent's attacks, defense, things like that, make it easier for us to land some big hits and survive a bit longer. And so for Darkness, my chosen team is Pierce, Sydney, and Mask Royale. And we're pretty well off when it comes to dark type units in the general pool, so we're lucky on that front. Sydney was just recently added, and even though I only have him at 1 out of 5 at the moment, he is still a pretty decent unit. I've used this team to also do off type for a Champion Stadium 1500 points, so these are pretty good, guys. Delve a little deeper into their builds. So Pierce is going to be the tank. He has Obstruct, which is very important in his role as tank. And Dire Hit All, awesome for a support to have. And Shout My Name, which increases move gauge refresh and also gives him enduring, making him last a little longer on the field. A lucky skill is Vigilance again, very important. Avoid critical hits. For Sydney, so his lucky skill, I have Defense Crush 2, which isn't needed really because I'll be lowering defense with Incineroar, but I'm out of the pink lucky cookies because ideally I would have Critical Strike 2, but I don't have any more. So Defense Crush 2 is the best he's got right now. But if you can get Critical Strike 2, it's only going to make him better. My strategy is going to be to first sync with Pierce because he is EX'd, and so he will double the, the sync move bonus that you get after using a sync move. And then a second sync move will be using Sydney, so that Absol will become Mega Absol, which will increase attack and speed as well as change Critical Strike 3 into Critical Strike 5. And as for Incineroar, we will be focusing on using Brutal Swing because his passives will have it so the target's attack and defense will lower. And Brutal Swing is good for that because it targets all opponents. So he can AoE lower their stats. He does have critical strike too, though he is not going to be focused on attacking, but it will be useful when we start using Darkest Lariat as the match continues and we start maximizing our damage. So I will also go into the grids I used for them. So here's a look at Pierce's grid. And so I focused on getting MP refreshes for Obstruct because you only get 2 uses originally. And so hopefully our luck will have Obstruct refresh so we can use it more than 2 times. And Obstruct, you will kind of have to be on top of that. Incineroar's grid, just focusing on increasing attack as the opponent's stats lower. Pretty basic, really. I didn't take any of the evasion stuff. It's really not going to help us here. And then as for Sydney, like I said, I only have him at 1 out of 5 right now. So the grid options I have for him are pretty limited. But yeah, I just took all the first squares that are available. But it works. Like, I've won with him a few times, and he's very useful. Sydney does not have the most optimized build, but hey, it works, which I think really speaks to how good of a character he is. And Sydney's also able to increase his own attack, critical hit rate, and he also has an enduring effect. And he has potions, so when Pierce is getting low on health, he can heal him. Though I try not to spend a lot of time healing with Sydney because he is kind of the main damage dealer of the group. Another thing about Sydney is he has Critic Confused. So leave the target confused when the user's move is a critical hit, and he's pretty much guaranteed to get crits. I like to open the battle with Brutal Swing, which will hit all the opponents at once, and they will all get confused. Alright, so without further ado, let's give it a go.
Here we go.
Alright, Brutal Swing right off the bat. I'm gonna Dire Hit all and also maximize Incineroar's speed. I'm gonna hit an Obstruct, and we're gonna Night Slash. Okay, Obstruct again. And we're gonna start Brutal Swinging with Incineroar. Alright, because he is in Obstruct, he can't sync move right now, so that is a detriment to that. You kind of have to time those a little better than I have. Gonna heal himself. Do Brutal Swing. And see. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Want to try and sync sooner than I did, because you kind of, I guess, waste some of your sync move, like, potential, if that makes any sense. I don't know what to call it. Here we go, let's Obstruct. Okay, I have a feeling he's gonna go down with this next sync, which is too bad. But I hope the rest of them might live. Alright, just barely. Okay, we're gonna sync. And Darkest Lariat. Oh, Incineroar's gonna go down, but I think we're gonna win with the sync move.
I guess we could have cut it.
Yeah, so you can definitely battle more elegantly than I did, but I feel like there's a lot of room for error with this team, so
No hard
that also kind of speaks to how good they are. So I highly recommend using those guys, especially on dark stages. And like I've said before, I did use them to off type, so they are usable for that as well. Alright, round 3. Use special attack moves against opponents with low special defense. And with this one, I used Blue and Pidgeot as my main striker, the support from Signasuit Elisa, and Morty and Miss Magnius. And if you don't know, Morty is a battle point sync pair, so you can get him by exchanging battle points. So I don't consider him a limited sync pair, because once you have enough battle points, you can get him at any point. So Elisa's good. She's pretty bulky in defense and special defense, so she makes a pretty good tank. Breathtaking increases the sync move countdown as well as raises critical hit of the chosen sync pair. And you can also spam Thunder Shock, which is a 1-bar move. And whenever she gets hit, her evasiveness will increase. And of course, we got the good old Vigilance. So Blue and Pidgeot aren't super impressive. I think once Pidgeot becomes Mega Pidgeot is when he becomes a decent striker. Like last time, we will be syncing with our support first, and then we'll sync with normal Pidgeot to become Mega Pidgeot. And we got Critical Strike too for the extra damage. Morty is good. I like he has the potion capability, so he heals. He can raise defense and special defense. He can confuse, and he can flinch. So he has a great kit in my opinion. And his lucky skill is haste. It can be anything you want, really. I didn't get Vigilance on him because I don't intend to tank with him. So you can just put any old thing on there. Alright, and now look at their grids. Alright, so here's Blue's build. It's actually been a while since I've done his grid. But I've got increased accuracy on Hurricane. Hurricane's going to be his strongest move once we get Mega Pidgeot. So it's important that it hits. And before we get Hurricane, we're going to be spamming Air Cutter, and we have a Critical Strike 3 on it, as well as Move Gauge Refresh. So those things will help him as we build him up to his optimal Mega Pidgeot form. Okay, here's a look at Elisa's build. Oh, I just remembered I can zoom out on these. Alright, so I added Ridicure because she will be tanking, and since her evasiveness increases with each hit, she has a chance of healing herself when a hit misses. It's not super reliable, but it is nice to have. Good to have her own healing capability, but we'll still mostly be leaning on Morty for heals. Breathtaking MP refresh, I think, is probably one of the most important nodes on here, because we want more of her trainer move to keep increasing or quickening the sync move countdown so we can sync faster. I got Hostile Environment on Thundershock. It won't really do much now since one of our parameters for Master Mode is no status conditions, so that's not going to matter, but you can replace that with something else if you'd like. There we go. And I have him at 3 out of 5 because I had 4-star support candies, so I unlocked his full grid. He's more useful with all of his nodes available, obviously. And a lot of his important nodes are kind of gated off at 3 out of 5, so that's something to keep in mind. But First Aid 4, Healthy Healing, both of those keep him, keep his HP higher, so he doesn't have to worry about healing himself so much. And of course we have Aggravation to increase chance of flinching the opponent, and Potion MP Refresh, so we can try and squeeze out more potions out of his moveset. Alright, here we go.
Full power.
Alright, I'm gonna start off with buffs, Breathtaking. Have her do her special attack alls, buff up Blue. We'll start spamming Air Cutter. And after this special attack all, I'm gonna sync with her. Start confusing the other opponents. It's okay, we don't have to worry about target too much since Blue has an AoE. Use Potion on Lisa. Now, we did not get the refresh of Breathtaking, which is too bad, because it would definitely help us to sync faster and get our Mega Pidgeot. Use Potion on Blue, keep him alive. Now we can sync. Okay, use a Potion on Lisa. Alright, since this will hit all of the opponents, let's hope the sides go down with this sync. Almost. We're gonna focus on the middle. I think we can take him out. Excellent.
Well played.
Yes, got that flinch in before Bulldoze. Flawless. Well, not so flawless. I did have to restart that one once. But hey, second time, no problem. So a little, yeah, RNG can really make or break a fight, so don't feel bad about having to restart. So next one is Olivia, and I have to admit she gave me the most trouble because when it comes to steel type pairs, we don't have a lot of options when it comes to unlimited pairs. A lot of the better steel strikers are Steven or Raihan, but they are both Pokefair units, so is Gloria. What I was originally trying was to use Mulane, and he is sadly inferior because he does not have a full sync grid, and I couldn't make it work. I used Gladion, and I had him supported by Jasmine and Hilbert. And I think Gladion's really good if you are missing a of any type, because Silvally can change its type with Gladion's trainer move. It does in a pinch like this where we're lacking any good steel sync pairs that are good for striking. Jasmine is great as a tank when it comes to fighting opponents with that mainly use physical attack. You can see her defense is divine, and she can evolve into Mega Steelix, increasing the defense even more. And she also has ways to increase defense. Normal Steelix does not get last word, but Mega Steelix does. But they both get endurance, which helps her stay on the field a little bit longer. Her lucky skill, I got Vigilance. So her lucky skill, as usual, Vigilance for our tank. So for Gladion, so his Mind's Made Up ability is what changes Silvely's type, and you can only use it once. And it will change both his type, his weakness, and the type of multi-attack and his sync move. So I only got Critical Strike 1. Obviously Critical Strike 2 would be better, but we deal with what we have. I was still able to get this to work. And with Hilbert, I actually don't use Hilbert a lot. I see a lot of other people using him. But he really came in use today for this team. He can increase the attack of his team, and with some nodes on his sync grid that I'll show you, he can also increase critical hit and I think defense. We'll take a look at it soon. And lucky skill, I have vigilance. Although I never intend to tank with Hilbert, his defenses aren't anything to write home about. Alright, sync grid wise, here's the build I use for Jasmine. My nodes I like best for her are Recuperation, which means she heals some HP after a sync move, which is really useful, especially in this team where we don't have any dedicated healer. I think that's the only way she really has to recover HP. And Impatience really nice because occasionally when she's hit, she will reduce the user's sync move countdown. So faster syncs are always a good thing. A move gauge refresh on Gyro Ball because it just makes spamming it more doable since it's a 2-bar move rather than a 1-bar move. I have Lockstep 9 on Clang, which will increase the user's move gauge when that move is used, which is really helpful because I think her speed's not really great, and so some move gauge bar management is kind of needed here. And then an MP refresh for Clang, so we can try and get more than just the 2 default uses out of it, since we'll be using it both to put up barriers for stat reduction and critical hit, and relying on it to manage our move gauge bar. So here's his build. So I have Endurance on him, try and keep him out a little longer. Waterfall, move gauge refresh, and aggravation to try and inflict flinching, because flinching is useful. Oh yes, and then raises the critical hit rate when he uses his trainer move. I don't have the other one that I think, one of the nodes does raise defense, but I did not take that one. That's what I was thinking of. We already have that Jasmine to raise defense, so that's not really needed and is less important than the other nodes. Alright, so here's his build. So I got nodes for super effective and double down, which will increase power of super effective moves, both normal and his sync move. The usual move gauge refresh on his main attack, and then I have Mind's Made Up hit and heal to add gradual healing once he uses his trainer move, because like I mentioned before with Jasmine, we don't have a dedicated healer, so him being able to heal himself even just a little bit can help him stay alive. So I had the most, I think this battle was the most challenging for me, so I can imagine might need to do a few restarts for this. Maybe not if you're better than me. You probably are better than me. So we're gonna start off with using Gladion's trainer move to change his type right away. And then add defenses and speed. Start multi-attacking. And this together increase our attack and critical hit rate. Put Clang in there. And we're gonna sync with Jasmine first. I'm sure you could have seen that coming. And we'll spam Waterfall with Hilbert and try and get some flinching in there. And use his last XP doll. Speed is good for our dire speed situation. Alright, we're doing so far so good. Here comes the first sync. Not bad. Let's go stay on top of things. Okay, and we're gonna sync with Gladion next. Try and get that damage out there. Let's hope this does enough. Ouch! I say ouch because that wasn't very powerful at all. Okay, but we should be taking her down with this next one. Ooh, Steelix. Okay, and they're gonna start using their AoEs, which is gonna be a big pain for me. Alright. I think hopefully with this next sync. Are we gonna flinch? No. Okay. Well, that sucks. Hey!
What can we learn from this?
We did it, and we didn't even lose anybody. Awesome. Alright, only one more to go. Then we can be Pokemon Masters. So the last parameter I'm going to choose is use powerful moves quickly and constantly. So that means the move gauge increases faster for both allies and opponents. But our final team, which will be very useful because physical attacks are important for this last round. And we're going to be using Signasuit, Grimsley, and Sharpedo. Supported by Lily and Phoebe. Lily with Clefairy, not one of Lily's many other alts. So Lily will be maximizing Grimsley's attack power with full power. So 2 of these trainer moves will maximize his attack stat. So he doesn't need to use the time buffing himself, which is useful. She's got Vigilance, big surprise. And her defense is pretty good, and her special defense is better, and I don't think this battle is really big on special attackers, but her defense still holds up. And we're going to be using Phoebe to increase critical hit rate, unbreakable bonds, but this will charge the move gauge, so we have some move gauge management. And I'll be spamming Shadow Punch instead of Double Edge. She's got Vigilance as default. Her lucky skill is Sans Shelter, which is not going to matter in this battle. And as for Grimsley, so Liquidation is his most powerful attack, which I will be spamming. I'm not going to use Sink or Swim because that destroys his HP, and I don't have any healers to balance that out. So we will not be using his trainer move. He's got Critical Strike. And as you can probably guess, we'll be syncing first with Lily and then syncing with Grimsley. And last time I did this, last time I did this, I synced with Grimsley like at the very end, so Mega Sharpedo really didn't have any time to shine. We'll see what happens, but Mega Sharpedo, his attack and speed greatly increase. Alright, so here's my build for Grimsley. So I got Head Start, increases the sync move countdown, Inertia because he's got Fast Track, which has a chance to increase his speed when he attacks. So he can increase his own speed and therefore increase the power of his sync move. And also Speedy Entry, which will start him off with his speed already increased by 2 stats. And then Move Gauge Refresh for Liquidation, because that is the move we will be spamming. And we got Lily, her sync grid. So she doesn't have kind of any manual healing abilities, unless on her sync grid you choose. I got Catalytic Cure for X accuracy all. So this will restore 20% of her HP when it's successful. So I learned the hard way that if you use it when her accuracy is already maxed, it fails, and so it won't heal when her accuracy is already maxed. But if it's not, it's a good little heal. 20% isn't a lot, but it's all she really has to offer besides her sync healing, which is one of her default passives. Disarming Voice is going to be the attack we're spamming, so we got Move Gauge Refresh, and I also got Unfortuitous for that, so it will randomly decrease one of the opponent's stats. And I like that on Disarming Voice since it is an AoE move, so it'll randomly decrease all 3 opponent's stats. And last we have Phoebe. And I do not have her EX'd yet, but having 2 support EXs I think is kind of overdoing it and not super necessary for this. Alright, but her grid is pretty basic. Shadow Punch, Refresh, got 2 of those. Also with Shadow Punch, if she lands a critical hit, she has a chance of raising her own defense, which is useful when she's tanking. She's not starting off as a tank, but Lily is prone to fall during the battle, so she will take up the role as tank at some point. So her having more defense is useful. Okay, so for our last one, we're gonna use powerful moves quickly and constantly. And off we go.
Looking forward to a heated battle, yeah?
So out the gate with a liquidation. We're gonna full power Grimsley up. And we're gonna max our crits. Lily's gonna blink out of existence. This game does not like being recorded. Now it's time to sync with Lily. You got this, girl. We're gonna start using Disarming Voice. Alright, we lived through the sync. Grimsley has pretty bad defenses, so It's a miracle sometimes. Misuse. Accuracy. Okay, can sync with Grimbley here. Excellent. Oh, bye Lily. Thanks for the heals. Your death heals. And let's see how much damage we do with this sync. Could end it. Oh, almost. But I think this Aqua Jet can save us. Yeah. Alright.
Looks like the odds were in our favor.
Excellent. We did it. Look at that. 7,500 points. That's right. We're Pokemon Masters now. So, there you have it. I hope you found this, I guess I can call it a guide. I hope you found it useful, and if you did, please let me know in the comments. And also let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this. I'd be really happy to make more Pokemon Masters content if people are interested. And if there's any aspect of the game you might need help with, or if you have questions about, I would be happy to try and make a video about that. But in the meantime, good luck with your master runs, and I'll try and finish a video like this before the next reset. But hopefully these are still helpful at some point in the future. And yeah, have a good day.